Hey, Bike Club listeners. My name is Antonino, and I am the founder and CEO of Atsap LLC, as well as your host of today's episode of the Bike Club podcast. In today's episode, you'll be hearing from one of our clients, Jalissa Rosario, and her new mobile application called WE-KONEKT. WE-KONEKT is a mobile app for connecting individuals, couples, or groups of people in your area that are interested in meeting up for the same activity without having to plan for it in advance. To learn more about WE-KONEKT and its founder, Julissa Rosario, listen to this episode of Bike Club. Welcome back, Bike Club listeners. Today, we're very excited to bring on a special guest host. I would like to introduce to you Jalissa Rosario. She is the founder and CEO of WE-KONEKT, which is an awesome new mobile app platform that we helped her and her team develop. And we're really excited to have her on today to discuss the app and entrepreneurship and just kind of let her talk to you about her idea, how it came to be, and how it's going to, influence people, and especially in this world where, with COVID and things kind of wrapping up, we can get into a world now where people are meeting each other and whatnot in a normal setting. So we're really excited to have her on today and kind of talk to you about what WE-KONEKT is and what it does. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you, Jalissa Rosario. Jalissa, if you just want to take a couple minutes here to explain WE-KONEKT and your story and how you got started with it and how the idea came to be.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me on your podcast. I think it's a great platform and avenue to get information out there about our app. WeConnect started out as just basically a dream, or a lot of times as a single mom, and I've always kind of had a spirit of entrepreneurship. And so a lot of times I didn't have time to plan ahead for with friends to go out and do things, or sometimes I would just have extra time on my hands. And so I found myself a lot of times kind of wondering, if only I could see who would be willing to go and do something with me, spur of the moment. So I just had that question, kind of roll around in my head for a long time. And then finally, one day I discussed it with a friend, which led me to Atsap. And so we decided to put an app out there that would connect people, connect singles, couples, and groups of people for activities in real time. And so it's geared more toward real time connections, but really it can be used for any time in the future. So it's just a good app to use if you want to get out, do something, and just want to find a friend to do an activity with.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that I personally really like about the app is, I've told you this before, Jalissa, but I've been dating the same girl for a long time. So I've never been on any dating sites or anything like that, or any dating apps. But one of the things I think is, super cool about this is, in my opinion, it's not really geared towards dating. It's, about meeting new people without the obligation of kind of dating them, if that makes sense. So I think that's a really cool idea and, really different, compared to other apps in this, kind of, industry. And I just wanted to, kind of get your take on that. And like, it sounds like that's obviously was like your agenda to kind of, market it in a way that it's not for, dating. Like it's not so much a dating app, but a way to kind of meet people in your community and find fun things to do with people who have the same interests. And I think that's a really cool idea, and just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Sure, absolutely. And yes, actually, when I first started asking around and asking friends and family members about it. I would ask the question, if if you had an app where you can meet people, go out with people to do an activity versus, the many dating apps that are out there, how would you feel about that? Would that be something that you would use? And that was actually something that helped me gauge whether to actually move forward with this project. Is that I got so many yeses. I got so many people telling me, it would be great if I could just meet someone out for an activity and not have the pressures and the expectations of what comes with calling it a date. So
Right.
absolutely, like you said, it's not a dating app, and we don't want to market it that way. It can be something that can be used for dating. Absolutely, you can meet someone, and if there's a connection there, obviously you can exchange information and as to go out again. But it's definitely not. We wanted to create something that doesn't have the pressures of dating apps. We wanted to offer, although it works a lot and it matches people like a dating app, it's more toward friendships and just getting out and doing activities without the pressures of it being called a date.
Right, right. Yeah, and you brought up an interesting point about how you're not necessarily branding or marketing it as a dating app, and I think a lot of our listeners would like to kind of hear about that because we have a lot of people interested in entrepreneurship and how I always say to people, our clients, that a lot of the times people have the idea that the hardest part is kind of building the app. And while it's not an easy task to actually build the product, one of the hardest things is kind of getting people to use it and, the marketing and branding behind that app. Have you found it easier or more difficult to kind of market it um, as a app that is not really necessarily a dating app, but more of like like as you put it, a friendship app, or finding people to do similar activities? How has the marketing and branding aspect of things been going?
The marketing has been going good. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. We've been doing some Facebook and Instagram ads, and we've been doing memes just because we want to kind of keep it as a lighthearted thing, which is what we want the app to be. We don't want it to be so serious and so commitment, minded. So we've been getting a lot of good feedbacks. Like I said, we've put out several memes that have given us, thousands of likes, just with the different ideas that we've put out about it. And so, like you had mentioned earlier, because we are marketing toward a lot of different groups, and like you mentioned with the couples matching, that's something that I myself, at one time I was in a relationship, I was married, and there came a point where we kind of just like ran out of things to talk about. So sometimes when we would go out to dinner, we would sit, at a bar just because we wanted to have other people to talk to, other couples to meet and interact with. And actually, WE-KONEKT, one of the good things about it is that, like you mentioned, it does invite couples to meet with other couples, and that way they can feel like they have something new to talk about at dinner, some new people, some new friends to make. So I think we have a broad, the good thing is that we have a broad group of people that we can market to, as well as groups. So you can join a group and do an activity with a group. So that helps, because that way we can get a lot of users to use our app. And the marketing has gone well. The only thing that we're coming across, obviously, is just the growing pains of being a new app, where people have to get to know us, have to hear about us, and more importantly, trust us. We offer a lot of good features and a lot of free features. And we actually have a 1 day subscription that is one of our pay as you go subscriptions, which is something that you rarely, or that not, I've never come across an app that gives you a pay as you go subscription. Usually they want you to do a monthly recurring subscription. And so of the things that I wanted to market and of the things that I wanted WeConnect to offer were all of the other things that other apps don't offer. So, when as I was using dating apps myself, throughout my lifetime, I a lot of times wondered, why can't I just use it when I want to use it? Why do I have to pay a monthly fee? I may not use it all month long. So here, if I do this, I have to pay every month. Every month I get charged. So, like I said, with our app, I think that a lot of people sometimes are maybe even surprised, or they're kind of wondering, like, okay, what's the bait and switch? What is it that I'm not seeing here? Because they're so used to so many apps sometimes trying to get them to subscribe and saying that they have free features, but ultimately they don't. Or, they'll show you some people for matching, but then if you want to see another exclusive, you know, uh, feature, you have to pay more. But so, I mean, with the WeConnect app, we wanted to give so many of those things that are missing that in other people matching apps. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the marketing is concerned, I think it's just a matter of growing pains for us. We just need to get the word out there, get people to realize that we do offer all those things that the other matching apps don't offer, and to just believe in us and see what all we have to offer.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. That sounds great. One of the things I'd like to point out too is that you've shared with us and our team here at Atsap a lot of the different press releases that you've put out regarding the app, and that's actually, I have to say, with all the different clients that we work with, you're one of the first clients to ever kind of take that route. And it seems like, from my perspective, that it's been beneficial. You seem to be getting a lot of traffic and traction from that. Is that something that you would maybe recommend to other early stage startup companies to kind of go that route? Do you see from your end that being helpful as a new business, as a new startup company? And if you don't mind, if you would like, could you maybe talk a little bit about your thinking about the route of the press release? 'Cause I know a lot of clients that we work with and other startup companies that we work with, are really really use heavily social media to kind of promote their apps and their new websites and whatnot. And that's a cool idea. But one of the things that I really like about your kind of marketing strategies, how you have mentioned, is like the memes that you've been doing. I think that's like so popular right now that it's like a great
Mhm.
idea, because it's like you said, it's playful. It doesn't give that
Right.
sense of, oh, you're obligated. But you also sort of took a more formal approach with like the press releases. So do you see? I guess, like, my question is, do you like the more formal route better, or the meme route better? And how has the formal press release that you guys have done, how has that kind of helped your marketing and brand?
Yes, it's actually helped out a lot. While we were looking at our strategy for marketing, for advertising, we actually considered a lot of different routes. We sat down and talked about, what would give us the best bang for our buck. So while we came across learning about press releases, and of course, social media, everybody's familiar with the memes, and everybody likes those. Videos are very popular. So we said, you know what? Let's do a combination. Let's try a combination for the more serious side of the business part of it. We said, well, probably a press release would be good. I had been doing some research and have read that usually with press releases, it takes more than just one to get people to actually react, or to you know see what you're doing, or look into what you have to say, what you have to offer. So we did that. We did a first press release, and that was very good. We got a lot of pickups, even from the first press release. Yahoo Finance, PR Newswire. We had that actually, I think, did a lot for Google searches and our SEO. And so we actually, we looked up our name, and lo and behold, there were the articles. And then at launch, we did another press release, and we got a lot of good feedback then, a lot of traffic then. We actually had a uh, a platform called Digital IT News that featured the article in their social media. And while we, had gotten picked up by over 90 something platforms, which of course are just different media outlets, newspapers, electronic newspapers, um, it kind of felt special, to see that someone had actually picked up your story and featured it on their social media, because that was something that was purposely done. It wasn't just a kind of a copy and paste kind of thing. It showed that they really did have an interest in it, and so they mentioned us without us even asking for it to be done. So I would definitely recommend press releases. I think that's your more formal way to go, but healthy combination of the two, I think, are probably the best strategy.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I would agree, and I think the approach you've taken is great, and I just me personally, it's been cool to watch because, like I said, you're probably one of our first clients to kind of take that formal approach, and it from my end, like I said, it seems like it's really benefited you, and like I think it's cool too to see when you sent me a couple of the press release articles that were picked up by Yahoo and PR News, and that's really exciting to see too, because like those are some big name media outlets. So I personally think that's
Okay.
really cool.
Yes, and actually, one thing that I think probably I have not mentioned earlier, but we're actually in the talks right now with Newswatch, which is actually airs on AMC.
Oh, cool.
And so they've actually reached out to me. They want to talk to us about WeConnect, about possibly doing a story on their show. And so like I said, that would be great if we can get uh, that platform to where we can have something on TV, or just something that would give us a bigger megaphone as far as what WeConnect has to offer.
Wow, yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Um, that I'm super excited for you guys because I think it's great that you're getting all this exposure. That is truly amazing. Um, I guess like the other question I have too is, has this been the hardest part of starting this new business? 'Cause I know it's a mobile app, but truly what you're doing here is you're starting a new company, you're starting a new business, and I guess from your experience with this, what's been the hardest part of starting this new business? Has it been the development? Has it been the branding and marketing? Has it been getting the word out there? In your opinion, what's been the hardest aspect of starting this new business?
So honestly, all of the above. I can tell you right now that starting your own business, and even more so an app or developing an app, is a lot of work. It's definitely not something for the week. So just know that it takes commitment. It takes believing in your product. It takes doing research. It takes coming up with a financial business plan, as far as just a physical, pen to paper plan as to how you want to see this this project develop. Um, it took a lot of hours to put together, a lot of hours to actually get the app exactly to how we wanted, a lot of testing, a lot of just commitment on both, our team and your team. I acknowledge to get this to actually launch, and launch quickly like it did. So I would actually, I mean, I would recommend. I'm a firm believer in, follow your dreams. If you have a dream, if you have an idea, do your research, put it out there, see how people react to it, and definitely try it. I mean, you don't lose anything by trying.
Right.
Obviously, you need to have a plan, yes, but take a risk. I'm a firm believer, and I like to mentor. And a funny story. One of the things is when I first started mentioning the app on Facebook and trying to get some exposure that way, I had friends and family that would give, kind of like the occasional obligatory like or whatever. And I kind of started wondering, well, hey, are my family and friends just not supporting me, or what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, a friend of mine, a colleague, asked, "Is this your app?" Like right on Facebook. And so kind of like just they could not believe that I was doing this, and so obviously, I after I chuckled for a little bit, I answered the question and I messaged them. I said, "Yeah, this is really my app." And then all of a sudden, I start getting all these questions and all these messages about, how did you do this, or how can I get to do this, or I've got an idea. And so it made me feel good as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a also as a Hispanic woman entrepreneur, to just be able to say, hey, I did this. I came up with this idea. I came up with a plan. I saw it through, and so now I want to see where it goes. I want to, and don't give up. Don't give up on that thought. Don't give up on that dream. And it's been interesting to see how people even react to it when I tell them, I've got this app that we're going to launch and everything, and they're so surprised. I think that in the world today, yes, we cheer on women. We cheer on Hispanic women in the business area, but at the same time, we're actually even still surprised that we've gotten this far. And so, I just keep cheering people on to keep trying. Whether it's a woman, whether it's not, whether it's one ethnicity or it's not, but whoever it is, just keep going for your dream, and because you never know.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic advice. Like one of the things we kind of pride ourselves on here at Atsap is, we want to help people succeed, and we want to help them bring their dreams from just an idea to a product, and make their dreams a reality as best we can. And I think that's a great message you're kind of putting out into the world there, because I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it as well, we see some successful business woman or businessman, and they say, oh, like that's great, but like that could never be me. And the truth of the matter is, it can be you. It can be anyone if you're willing to kind of, like you said, take risks, put yourself out there, and try to follow your passions and your dreams. And so I think that's a fantastic message that you're sending out to people. So I truly applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, and the other thing I kind of wanted to chat a little bit about here is you had mentioned that you did a lot of research. You said part of starting a business involves doing a lot of research and trying different things and whatnot. So you took the approach of making this a mobile app instead of a website, at least when you first launched it here. Was that based on research that you said, you know what, we don't really see the benefit in a website, or was it more of just like a gut feeling, like, hey, you know what, we want to start with a mobile app? Was there any sort of research that kind of swayed you one way or another? I guess the reason why I'm asking is because a lot of our listeners and people who come to us kind of always juggle the idea of whether or not they need a mobile app or a website or both.
I instinctively I went with the mobile app. I honestly didn't really think of it as being used as as like on a website or a laptop. I think that we're so used to having mobile apps for everything that we do in life. Basically, it's like we're basically married to our cell phones. So when I started thinking about the idea, I automatically went to mobile apps. I knew that I wanted to have the app uh, be able to be downloaded on both, Android and iPhones, so that there would be more choice. But I definitely went toward mobile apps at first. To be honest, I probably would not have thought of making it something that would be used through a basic website or on a laptop. I think it's just the way people do business nowadays is the cell phone is the thing to have and to do.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. Plus, you had mentioned early on about, the way you're kind of branding this and the way you want the app to work is more in like a real time setting. And, everyone has their phone on them constantly. So if it's a web based thing, maybe they're not checking the website, in real time, but, the phone, everyone's constantly looking at their phone. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's, I agree completely because I think that, um, it's just a simplicity thing too. And the other thing I think it is too is like more of the branding aspect. Like I'm guilty of this, but like, I'll see a really cool website sometimes, but then like I'll forget about it for a couple weeks because it's not, always there. But with a mobile app, I'm on my phone all the time and I'm scrolling through my apps and like I see the logo, I see the app icon. It's a constant like reminder of that brand or that product. So,
Right.
that's the other thing I would kind of, say to people in a situation similar to you, is, why it's important to have a mobile app.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, I don't see that many people would think of something that would be beneficial for real time like this app is to be anything other than a mobile app. Like I said earlier, you can use it and for future planning, which is also great because, like I said, we for those people that are not spontaneous, that are not people that would automatically think of just doing something spur of the moment, you can also use it to plan in the future. So, either way, whether you're somebody that plans long term or, you're going to be traveling somewhere and you'd like to find someone to go sightseeing with, or whether you just want to, go have a cup of coffee in the next 15 minutes, then the WE-KONEKT app has something to offer.
For sure. For sure. So before we kind of wrap up this episode here, one of the things I always like to ask other entrepreneurs or business owners and things like that, or individuals similar to you who have started a business or starting a new business or have plans to start a new business, is if you could give any advice to a new entrepreneur looking to start a new business or a new mobile app, a new website, really, or anyone with an idea that they want to try to bring to market, what advice would you give them?
I would say don't give up on that thought. Don't give up on that idea. Like I mentioned earlier, do your research, ask around, see if there's an actual need for it. A lot of times, like I've learned in the past, and the way I've thought about a lot of things, whenever I try to think of an opportunity for business or for entrepreneurship, is what is it that would make my life easier? What is it that I wish I had today that I don't have, that would make this task better for me or easier for me? And another thing is, I'm a firm believer of believing in yourself. I can tell you, and probably one thing that, you guys sometimes when you're dealing with business, you don't get into the personal life of people. But I mean, I can tell you that I started out as a single mother. So don't believe that I don't have the avenue, or I don't have the funds, or I don't have the budget to do that. Well, I can tell you one story that I like to tell whenever I try to mentor people, into believing in themselves, is that I started out, like I said, as a single mom. I had a young son, and there was one point in life when we shared a 99-cent cheeseburger, because that was all we had money for at the time. So, little by little, things like that that happen to you in life actually make you who you are. And so, from those lessons, I learned to make good financial decisions, to dream, to say one day I'm going to do better in life. And so, from that story, what I hope people take from it is that, even if you find yourself today sharing a 90 cent, 99-cent cheeseburger with your small son, there are ways to dream, to bring to fruition the dreams that you have in life and to do better in life. And, I can tell you that sometimes I even surprise myself. I try not to let things like that go to my head too much, but, sometimes I do have to sit back and say, hey, I look at where I started, when I was a lot younger than I am now, and where I am now. And, I'm very business oriented, very business minded, and now I've got, I deal in some other businesses that don't have to do with the app, but I have some rental property, and now the app. So I've come a long way. So sometimes I have to kind of sit back and say, give myself a little credit and say, you've come a long way. Look at all of this that you've done. And so, for anyone out there that's listening to this message, just know that, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Wow, that's I didn't know that story. That's actually that's a very inspirational story. So I truly do hope that our listeners, that are listening to this show, take that advice to heart. And I think that's a very powerful message, and I'm glad that you're kind of spreading that into the world. That's again, like I said before, I applaud you for what you're doing. And I love entrepreneurship, and I love seeing people take a risk and try and take that leap into entrepreneurship. So, like I said, I applaud you, and I truly hope that this app, does well and takes off, and it, is a great experience for you and everyone involved.
Thank you. I hope so too.
That's awesome stuff. I'm really excited. So before we kind of wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention about the app to our listeners? Or anything else you'd like to talk about?
With the app, I would just hope that anyone that's listening to this podcast, that you go and check it out, see what we have to offer. Like I said, there are so many things with this app that are not offered in other apps, and that's the reason we did it, was to give those options that are not offered by other apps. So check it out. We have a 1 day subscription where, if you don't make a connection, if you reach out to someone and they don't, and if you don't hear back, we realize that 24 hours is a short time to try to, make a friendship or make a connection for an activity. And that's why we did that, to give people the option to go on our app and use all of our features for free. It's not just looking to see who's out there to do something. It's actually allowing people to actually reach out to someone else. And then if they want to reach out to you, then you would pay the 1 day, very affordable subscription. Like I said, we offer subscriptions and pay as you go options that are not offered in other apps. So anybody can use it. Anybody can see who's out there for activities. Anybody can reach out with the 1 day subscription. And luckily, you do make a connection, and we hope that WE-KONEKT can serve the users as it was intended.
Cool. Yeah, and we will put the in the description of this episode, we'll put the links to the download links of the app on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. But for anyone listening, feel free to go check out and download the app on the Google Play Store and on the Apple App Store. Jalissa, thank you again for coming on the show. This has been great. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck. I encourage everyone who's listening to this show to go download the app and check out Jalissa's app and what the awesome product that her and her team have put together here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
If you have a great app idea and want to find out how you can take that app idea from idea to market, feel free to give us a call and book a free consultation at our website at www.atsapllc.com. Likewise, if you own a business and you want to see how we can help you streamline it with software, book a free consultation on our website at www.atsapllc.com.